But no, yeah, no, that's interesting. Woo, we made it. We got there.
We did it. Wait, I
Congratulations.
have to get my drink. Hold on.
Yes, go get your drink. Get settled.
I'm getting settled.
Oh, yours is orange too. You got like an orange thing going on. In which
Let's
case,
do this.
welcome to the podcast.
Yay.
We made it after our technical issues at the beginning and me accidentally kicking you from the chat.
Oh well. Oh
It
well.
happens. Yeah, it happens. How are you anyway?
I'm okay.
Good.
Yeah. I can't really complain. Not today, right now, anyways.
Well, that's not a bad place to be in, really, is it?
Ask me later and I'll have something to complain about, I'm sure.
Everyone, like, I mean, it's only midway through the day, so there's plenty of time to get annoyed by like various things.
Life. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I will apologize. I'm wearing gloves today as well because it's the most ridiculously cold day. It's been like
Yeah.
I think it was like 8 degrees in the apartment when I woke up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy cold. But it's normally like this all this month.
Well, this
So,
was like the weird thing. Like, where's winter? And then
right.
suddenly it's here.
Well, it usually super, super cold during February.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if it was actually going to happen or not. And then what do you know? But then like Monday, it's going to be not really cold again. So I don't know. I mean,
Mm.
normally it's like negatives, wind chill, frozen, everything now. The world is ending.
I was waiting
Pretty-
for snow,
I know. I don't even know if we're going to get any.
and I missed it because I went back to the UK over the holidays, and it snowed here and obviously like dropped to like minus 25 degrees C or whatever. And obviously there was like snow and stuff, and then I came back and the UK got the same weather, so I just
That's
avoided it. But,
damn. That sucks.
yeah. But we'll do a quick introduction because I
Okay.
have a few questions. So first
Yes.
off, who are you?
Oh my God.
I mean, it's a small question, but it's a big one.
It's just so big. I don't know. I'm a girl, a small town girl from Texas who moved to the big city.
Perfect.
No, I grew up in Texas. I
Hmm.
moved here about 15 years ago now,
Okay.
and I make upcycled art, things I find on the street. I turn into found object sculptures and jewelry, and I do wheat pastings, and yeah, that's what I do.
For the uninitiated, what is a wheat pasting?
Um, it is a piece of artwork that you illegally slap on something outside with this pasty substance that's called wheat paste.
Okay. Yeah, I read that a while back, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what it was because I mean we just call it postering off or fly not fly tipping. Fly tipping is completely different. Fly posting, I guess, is the way to think of it. Yeah. No, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean I've followed you for a while, art wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna do this, I think last year, wasn't it? I reached out to you to say, hey, would you like to? And you weren't sure
Yeah.
whether you would.
Yeah. And then it was supposed to happen last October. And then
I
you moved
moved.
here. And now it's happening finally.
You're one of those interesting guests of like you're the second person in New York who I've interviewed,
Yeah.
and we still decided to do it virtually. We were
Yeah.
like, we're both in the city. We could easily like meet up and like, no, we'll do it virtually. We'll
No.
stay inside.
Well, especially now because it's so cold. But
Mm-hmm.
even if it wasn't, I'd have some weird excuse.
It's fine.
I mean, I spend my whole day outside because I walk dogs. I have a pet care business. So I take
Ah,
care of animals all day. And the last thing I want to do when I'm done with my day is be outside anymore.
definitely.
So,
And you've been out this morning in like the minus 15.
yeah, I visited cats. I even did a wheat paste.
Dang.
Yeah, that's how. dedicated I am.
You don't even need the paste this morning. You just put water on it; it'll stay in place.
I know. It's like, is it gonna freeze before it dries? But I don't know. We'll see.
Walking around with a bucket of water. But I loved your stuff because it was interesting when I was looking at like the jewelry you make and the fact that you do find things on the street, but you don't just take like some kind of reclaimed jewelry where it's just like, oh, I go find driftwood on a beach or something like that. You take more, I guess, what would be like visceral stuff, which is just everything you come
Yeah.
across.
Yeah. Yeah. Including like dirty syringes. That's my most popular item.
Yeah.
Um, everybody in the neighborhood wants one of these because I mean, I think now that you've moved to this area, have you seen them everywhere? Or is there not that many out there?
I I feel like I have a weird impression of the city at this point in time. So I didn't see a live rat until a week ago, and I'd been here since July.
Okay.
And I
You're
don't know
you're
if it's just because I'm not looking or
you're not living right if that's the first live rat you've seen,
I'd seen some dead rats, and I
right?
was like, okay, that's expected. But I expected to run into at least a live rat in some like situation, and I didn't
Any,
see one like
yeah,
anywhere.
that's weird. So
So
no
yeah,
dirty syringes? You haven't seen dirty syringes anywhere?
I've seen maybe like one, like one.
Whoa. Yeah, you're not getting out enough. You're not a true New Yorker yet.
With this accent, I feel like I can never be a true New York.
You don't really want to be. Although I don't know, I'd rather be a New Yorker than a Texan, but we won't go there.
I mean, I can say like you've been here for like 15 years, so are you not? Are you close to true New York? What is
I
true New
feel
York?
like I don't know. I've had different people tell me different things, but most people that lived there their whole life say that I am a New Yorker at this point. So, I mean, I yell at people on the street and tell them to go F themselves. So I feel like I fit in well.
Okay, yeah,
I mean, you don't do that in Texas. So,
no. I
I
mean,
mean, you want
you
to.
can't do much in Texas.
No, you can't.
Essentially.
No, not really at all.
Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, no, like you're saying, like they're kind of picking up syringes and stuff. I just found that incredibly interesting because it almost goes against everything I was ever told as a child, which is don't pick up stuff from the street.
Yeah.
Like,
No, and I like the grossest stuff. Yeah. The reason why I started picking them up is because, like I said, I walk dogs. And
mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, it got really bad. It's still
Mm-hmm.
bad. It's not gotten worse since the pandemic has stopped. But before that, I rarely saw a needle anywhere. Pandemic happens, people are gone. It's just me out here, which was
Mm-hmm.
super scary, might I add. And I was still walking dogs because all my clients, even though they were working from home, they were helping support me so that I would still walk dogs. It was a total weird situation. But
Mm-hmm.
there were needles everywhere
Yeah.
still. Um, and so I was like, I'm gonna pick these up so my dogs don't get poked with their, in the feet because they're literally everywhere. They're uncapped. Just it's so scary. So I started picking them up and then I'm like, gross, what the hell am I gonna do with these? And then I don't know, crazy brain came up with making a bracelet and I made earrings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've made sculptures, flowers primarily, out of them. Yeah.
Has this always been kind of like your style then of using kind of reclaimed work or?
You know, recently I realized that, yeah, I mean, normally it's not as gross as that. It's usually just like wood and, you know, when you're a poor artist, you recycle canvases and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I've always been doing some sort of upcycling to some degree.
I think it's a good way to work. I think it's something which I often see with a lot of artists who start out and they want to make something which they consider professional. So they go out and they like buy a bunch of stuff. They'll buy all the new stuff and they want something clean and they want, the best machines to do the best things all the time rather than just sitting there and going, well, I could just build this from
Right.
things in my house.
Yeah.
And it just adds to the concept and the catharsis of it all, from my view.
Well, I feel like there's like every piece that I'm working with has like a story. Like, when I pick up a weird canvas that's got some strange thing painted on it from someone, I think, who did that and when did that happen? So there's like weird story that I'm carrying on underneath my stuff in a way. I like it. It's interesting.
There's a secret hidden story.
Yeah, I wish they would just talk to me, my weird little canvases and whatever. Maybe the needles. Ew.
Hmm. I don't know what the needles would say. Just, I'm lost and I'm slightly cold. Please help.
No, I think they'd tell me some really weird shit. I think. I don't know.
Someone put some weird stuff inside of me and then put that stuff inside themselves. Please help.
Yeah.
I'm just in a weird like Pixar moment in my head where I'm just like, would if syringes could talk, would they feel the effect of the thing which is put inside them? And then
Maybe.
they just feel really empty afterwards? Is it just like a weird metaphor for heroin? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Moving on.
So my second question of today is simply, what have you done today?
What have I done today?
Yeah.
Well, I got up and took care of two cats, and like I said, I did a wheat paste over. It's a little flyer wheat paste for my show that's coming up next week, and came back here and got ready, and oh, I sold my roller skates on Craigslist. Some girl picked them up. So I made $40. Hey.
Nice. Not bad for rollerblades.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Just tell us about your show. Just
so my show next week is it's all old work primarily because I used to do artwork that everything had to do with hearts. It's kind of poking fun at love and relationships and trying to figure out why or how the heart symbol became the symbol for love. I used to be really focused on that. I am no longer focused on that. But it's Valentine's Day almost. And so somebody that I know that has a gallery said, hey, you want to do this? And I thought, well, I just pulled all this stuff out while I was cleaning. So it's fresh in my mind. So we'll do this. The show's going to be interactive. There's going to be a wheat paste outside, a group wheat paste that I do, which I've done before. And basically, it's going to have, I don't want to give it away, although when this shows, it's not going to be.
This will be after. This will be after. Yeah.
So I guess I can give it away. So it's going to say, I miss you most when, and it'll have like a little line for you to fill in. It's going to say that over and over again. And basically, you can walk up to the wheat paste, which will be outside a little ways down on a mailbox. But it's going to be big. And people can fill it in and then take pictures and maybe send it to whomever. Maybe that'll help the relationship. Maybe it'll make it worse. I don't really care. But it's interactive in that regard. I'm making a found object sculpture trophy that I will give away to the person that shares the most bizarre, twisted, sad, horrific dating or relationship story. And I've made a line of potting times like Valentine's, but potting time because that's my signature name, Jennifer Pod. And this I did a long time ago. I'd make a little card about somebody I dated. It's usually kind of not nice.
Rarely artwork these days gets made nice about love.
I know. But these were like really like messed up and like, you know, something personal usually, but whatever, it was me, it's my therapy. And so I made these and then I invited all my exes to the show and it was really fun watching them walk up and like read them all and like, you know, they were trying to figure out which one is about me. I think it was pretty obvious, but whatever. So I have some of those that I'm gonna have hanging up to share with everyone, and I made a couple new ones. But my new stuff, I've having a couple pieces of art I'm gonna do too, but my new stuff isn't like as negative. It's not all like wee happy love positive either, because I really don't like Valentine's Day at all. But it's more just a reflection of all my relationships.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, that shows growth as an artist, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, you seem so unsure of that. Like, no, I'm still that person. I'm just faking it now.
I don't know if I'm grown. I've stayed this size for, I don't know, ever. If you saw me, you'd see I'm very small. I'm a small person.
Small Sandy in the city, though.
What was that?
Small's handy in the city though. You can just like
No, it
squeeze
is.
through everywhere.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so that's my show. And that's gonna happen, and then who knows what else is gonna happen after that.
Nobody knows. Still lost me. Yeah. But,
You need to come to my show.
I want to come to your show. I thought I'd missed it. Like,
oh, because you thought it was this Friday.
Yeah, my brain just went, oh, it said Friday. My brain read Friday. I was like, oh, it's Friday. And then it got to Friday and I got busy like doing my regular job. And I was like, oh, I missed that.
Yeah. No, you didn't. See, I tried to remind people ahead. I'll remind you. Don't worry.
I want to come along. I want to see the things and the stuff. And
yeah, you gotta fill out. You gotta do the thing outside for somebody, and
yeah, why not?
Maybe you'll win the trophy.
I can write something to myself.
Yeah. Or anybody in your past, you know.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of, when I create work, I always find this interesting. I rarely create work about myself.
Really?
So I rarely create work about myself. I always try to create work which is more of a blockade for me, which is, I mean, it's therapy. It's, it's me working through that. So when I do make work about myself or make, statements or anything like that, I still very much don't look at me. I look at something else and go, oh, well, this would be interesting for that. This would be, and it's a complete avoidance of myself. I know this. It's,
okay. Well, then you need to write something to you.
Okay.
If you show up.
I will pick up. I'll try to show up. No, I want to come. I find it interesting, and I thought, I mean, just as you were describing, is that I love artwork which forces at least some consideration of what you're seeing. Like you can go to a gallery show anytime and you can see loads of work and you can go, okay, these are nice, and this isn't, etc., as critics tend to do. But when you go to something which has some element of interactivity, it's nice because it makes you consider everything else you're seeing from that context. Right. And look at everything and go, like with that kind of people writing notes to each other when they go in, obviously they're going to see your work, which is based on your previous relationships, and think, oh, is that me down the line? Am I going to end up this way, or am I,
Right.
And the fact that you want to troll your exes is even better. So. Do you think there's a responsibility as an artist to troll people a little bit?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it. It's just like the only reason I did it, I'm not doing it anymore. I did it is just because I had like leftover anger for people, and therapy. It was a therapy for me to like let the shit go and to watch them have to experience.
That's the best bit. Watching someone react is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's wrong though. I don't know. Who's right or wrong? I don't know.
I don't think that's wrong. I think I almost feel like that's your reward for creating art.
Maybe.
Even if someone's enjoying your work, like if you make something and someone gets it and they take it home and put it on the wall and that's something they enjoy, I think if they tell you that they did that, there's like a little bit of reward which goes, yeah, I did a good thing.
Yeah.
Or if someone gets punished by it, I did a good thing.
Yeah, I think the thing I like most about making stuff, especially my jewelry, but just in general, all my stuff, is when someone comes up to me and they share a story that how it's weirdly touched them. And I know that seems weird with the bracelets, my syringes. I've had several people cry, and like,
it's interesting.
And some of them are like heroin survivors. So it's a whole different level. Then I think there's other people that don't even like tell me exactly, but they just tell me how much it's touched them. And this one woman bought one. She's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to wear it, but I'm going to keep it in a special place. And I just want you to know how great it is. It's stuff like that does it for me. I don't know. And then like also whenever, I tried to do little pieces that have to do with, nowadays everything has to do with my love for New York City. So I do little collagey things sometimes about some of my favorite people that originated in New York, like Claus Nomi. I don't know. Do you know who Claus Nomi is?
No.
Oh, he was a German musician. He died of AIDS in the 80s, but he was amazing and totally weird, and you have to check him out. So he's one of my favorites. And he lived in the East Village. So every now and then, like, I'll have a piece out, and there'll be like this older person that comes up and they'll tell me how they met him or how they hung out with him and this in the neighborhood. That's the stuff that makes me like go, yes, this is so cool. And this is why I live in New York City and I love it here.
So you think you can get that in any city though, or is it just New York?
I think it's just here.
Yeah,
At least for me, it is.
it's interesting. Of like I've I think New York has a lot of layers to it. I think I was saying to you the other day of there is so much here, and there is so much to do that you end up not doing anything. Like it's like Netflix but a city.
You're overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think you're right in the sense of I think the amount of stories and finding people connected to stories is what makes it wonderful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everyone kind of keeps to themselves.
Yeah. Including me, which is so weird. I mean, I have like massive social anxiety. Like out like and that's why I love it here because people, even though you're outside, there's so many people that they don't really
Mhm.
interact with you. You're just kind of like this little thing going through, except for the weird, crazy people that scream at you, and then I have to go, fuck him, But for the most part, it's like a great place to be. But it's so weird that like that I do these art shows that I'm
Mhm.
asking people to talk to me, strangers, please come talk to me, even though I have social anxiety, and share your stories. It's totally bizarre. I don't even get it.
I think I know I get it. I think I relate to it. Like I mean, that's the same. Like I make a lot of work which isn't about me, and I like taking that to places. And when I do make work about me, I like taking to that place and then removing me from that situation. And but then at the same time, I promote it and I say, oh hey, you should go look at this thing which I don't want you to look at. Like here's this thing I did. It's terrible, and that's when people ask about the podcast. Like say, well, how do you make things, or how do you have these conversations when you're not particularly a person, Graham? And I'm like, well, yeah, because when I say, hey, I do this podcast, nobody watches it, and that's my instant reaction to it. Well,
Lots of
people,
people watch it though.
yeah, and you were asking people to engage because we have this medium which we're allowed to, I guess. It's like giving
Yeah.
yourself permission to
Yeah.
get past your own social anxieties.
Yeah, I guess. And then I come crawl back in my little hole and hang out with my dog and my cat.
I mean, that sounds like a good life.
And it's not so bad. I'm not
Yeah.
complaining.
Did you I guess it's kind of like a drawback to when you were kind of from Texas and whatnot. Was art something you did there?
Yes. That's when I did all the pod and tines and watched all my exes enjoy them. Yeah, no, I was doing pretty well. I was doing a lot of shows and it was all the heart stuff.
Mm.
And yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. I had a lot of friends saying, "Oh, you're gonna move to New York and you're a big fish in a little pond here. You're just gonna get lost." But I mean, I didn't come here with the intention of like being an artist.
Mm.
I came here just to get the hell out of Texas because it's a scary place. And I didn't do art when I first came here for a really long time.
Mm.
I kind of started it up again during the pandemic, like everybody else kind of had time to do things and
Reflect.
yeah,
Yeah.
pick up dirty needles.
I mean, I find it insane that you moved to New York if you've got high social anxiety.
I know. And a lot of people are like, what is what? Yeah. And it was hard, so hard. But
Yeah.
I had good friends here that knew of my issues and, they pushed me out of my shell. One of my friends would show up every Sunday and like take me on an adventure in the city to kind of help me figure out where I am and how to navigate. On the train system was so stressful for me because people and like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, where am I going to end up? Oh God, even now, still, like sometimes on the train, I'm freak out thinking I'm going to get lost and end up in Harlem. I don't know, but I don't take the train that much.
No.
No, I'm a bicycle girl.
Whereas I couldn't. I don't think I could ride a bicycle through New York.
Why? You gonna get hit?
Yeah, I think just I mean it's the same with kind of cars and stuff. It's just like I don't think I'd drive here because it's just too much. Like I'm fine walking around in crowds, and I'm fine on a subway as long as it's not too crowded because I'm a little claustrophobic. But there's like a structure in my head. Like, yeah, this is structured. It goes one space. If I get to that end and it's the wrong direction, I just get back on and I come all the way back. Whereas
Right.
on a push bike on like a in a car, I'm just like, if I'm just driving around this, there's like a lot of chaos and a lot of variables I can't deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas on a
I wouldn't.
subway, I'm like, I'm in a tube. I'm good.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. And now next time I freak out or have a freak out on the subway, I'm just gonna be like, no. Like you said, I'm just gonna end up somewhere and I just have to turn around and go back,
Yeah.
even
You
if
can
it
get
is
off at any
Harlem.
station and just get back on the other side and it'll take you back the way you
Yeah.
came. I do that so often.
Yeah, but before I didn't really know the area. So I always just, yeah,
Mm.
just in my brain, it was just like, but my bike is great. It's kind of, it's, it's how I get around everywhere. So I don't go that far. I wouldn't ride to New Jersey to visit you on my bicycle,
No.
even though I guess you can. But I've been hit
Technically.
though,
Yeah.
like two, three times now, maybe three times, two concussions.
Two concussions. But
Maybe that's why.
but then you still get back on your pushback.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think you're socially anxious anymore.
What?
I feel like you're not socially anxious anymore. I feel like you defeated yourself.
Maybe. No, I do. I still have like, but
Yeah.
then when you're on a bike, you're not like that close to people. I feel safer on a bike,
Yeah.
more like tough. Like I could, I don't know,
Someone gets in your way and you can just plow them
just
down.
like, yeah, just yell at them, tell them get the hell out of the way and go. Um, yeah. I mean, I wear a helmet. You got to
That's
wear a
important.
helmet.
You gotta wear a helmet. Yeah.
The one time I didn't wear a helmet, which was why I had the concussion, and then they were like, "Okay, you're gonna screw yourself up like forever."
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about my hair. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
We
now I
all
don't
have this one.
care. Now I'm like, oh well. My hair will be messed up when I arrive, but I won't die.
Yes. That's the important thing. The same kind of like today with it being cold, I was wearing a hat, like a woolly hat for most of this morning. And I took my hat off and my hair was just like fused to my head. And I was just like, yeah, but if I don't, freeze to death. So I guess I'll just
You're gonna
wear
be the hat guy. Yeah, I almost wore my like hat because I didn't want to fix my hair either. But then I thought it's gonna
this.
look weird if I'm in the house and I've got a goofy hat on. So
I think that's kind of like a good like roundabout though, like of using art and using methods to get over kind of situations in life. You know, like I mean, like saying like being socially anxious and me being less outwards, you find coping mechanisms to get yourself to those situations because you're going to struggle to get there. Like you're going to have to deal, yeah, like your innocuous drink. Those kinds of things where you figure out what you need to get through and what system you can put in place so it's not going to be as bad. And the
yeah,
same when you create work, it very much becomes okay. Well, this is going to be tough to talk about. This is going to be tough to create about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad now that my stuff isn't so heavy that
Mm.
I work on. I like it now, and I guess I'm not like in that sad place anymore. And I guess, as you said, I've grown.
It's important to grow.
But yeah, I used to do some really heavy stuff to the point where like whenever I'd have an art show, I didn't even want to go. And I
Mm.
still, and I did one recently that was about a friend of mine that passed away, and I didn't want to go to that one at all, just
Mm.
because I knew when I got there, people were going to talk about him, and I didn't want to deal with that. But I always felt like when I did the heavy shows that like I was walking in and like all my guts were like smeared on the wall, and I didn't really want to like be there for that.
Mm.
But now everything's kind of light and fluffy, and it's just about my appreciation for New York. So it's better. So I guess like next week's shows might be a little heavy. I don't know. We'll see.
I think it might depend on the person, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess it depends what you take from it.
Yeah.
But then I think maybe that's true of any event. In fact, So a friend of mine invited me to a gig, a concert. It's sometime in February, and I'd never heard of any of the bands. So I was like, cool. Do the old research, go find out what they are before I say yes, I'm going. Otherwise, it might be the worst night imaginable.
Yeah.
And so I listened to their music, and I was like, okay, this is good. And then the more I've listened to it today, the more I've gone, oh, actually, yeah, no, this is really, really good. Like the lyrics are good. They're kind of like they're my type of music, and it's my kind of method and music. And what's the word? There's a word I'm looking for: metaphors or similes or whatever. And I was like, and you have that experience when you go a lot to shows you get invited to by other people, because they're obviously interested in it, and
Right.
they're interested in what's there. It's their band, and you go and you're like, I'm probably not getting as much from this as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find big galleries interesting because of that, because you can wander around somewhere like the MoMA or Met, and it's just people drifting through. In a way, it's not really stopping and looking at stuff, but
Yeah.
you'll every so often you'll just see someone get caught by like a piece, and suddenly they're experiencing that way more than everybody else in the room.
Right.
And I think I'm just fascinated by that.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
very cool.
that's maybe that's what your show will do for other people.
Maybe. I hope so. Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
see.
it'll be great.
I'm sure. Oh my God, smeared on the wall. It'll be great.
You'll either make someone's night or ruin someone's night, and that's the best you can do with that.
That's my theory anytime I go out, right?
You can make someone's day or ruin someone's day.
Yeah.
I think there's no middle ground in New York.
Mm-mm.
No.
They're gonna love you or hate you.
See, I always tend to aim for the hate.
Yeah, it kind of works for me too.
Maybe that says something about us, the city. I don't know. Do you think New York attracts that kind of thing?
Probably. I know living here makes me definitely a different person and like much more aggro and assertive
Yeah.
because there's so many people and like weirdos around that are just like ugh that you can't help it. I mean, any other place you're in a car, you're not exposed like we are
Mm-hmm.
here, you know? And then being a dog walker, I'm outside and I don't know, just weirdest people try to mess with me. Sucks.
I feel like we're painting a bleak picture of New York.
What was that?
I feel like we're painting a bleak picture of New York.
I know, and yet my art is all like, oh, I love New York. It's all about love for New York, even though I pick up dirty needles and it's
It's full of
created hate
needles and
within
angry
me.
people.
Yeah, it's filled me with hate until let me learn to tell everybody to F off. But I love it here. Wouldn't be any other place in the US. Except
Okay.
if I had to move somewhere else,
Right. Yeah.
I'd go to New Orleans
New Orleans. Okay. Why New Orleans?
because it's wonderful there.
Yeah.
There's a good like creative environment within the French Quarter, like just really neat art. Um, and I don't know. I mean, I have like some. Uh, my father's from Louisiana, so there's some of that
Okay.
to it also. But the food is delicious. If you've never been, it's a really fun little place. It's like they say the two sisters. It's New York and New Orleans.
Oh, I never heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they're so distinctly different
Mm-hmm.
kind of places. Maybe that's a good question. Then, do you think people pick locations or just deal with the locations that they're put in?
I think people that aren't brave deal with their locations, and brave people pick them. Like you. You came here. Your face.
I was shipped here. I'm like a mail autogram. I go where I'm needed, and that's pretty much how I live my life.
But it's cool. You're getting to experience here.
Yeah, it's been
Yes.
I've had a few people again have asked me what I think of New York, and I always feel like I have the wrong personality for this question because to me everything is okay. Like, I mean, there's awful things and there's awful things in the world. So every situation I'm in where it's not awful is good. We're okay. You know,
Okay.
life is okay. So going to New York, people who love New York ask me about it, and I feel like they're expecting a hyper answer. Like
Yeah.
it's the best, it's the most wonderful thing I've ever seen, and it's got so much stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's just okay. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I love it here. I love Halloween here.
yeah,
Because that's really the only time I like to go out is for Halloween. And we have really good Halloween parties here. Um, I don't know. It's as far as wanting to do anything, this is a place where you have the most choices. And not that I go out much and do things, but when I want to, I want choices. I want, like you said, so many choices. I don't know. I love it here. I think you need to get out more, and then you might have a little bit more of an opinion about it, other than it's okay.
it's okay. What's wrong with okay?
No, it's fine. It's better than this place sucks.
Yes, yes. I'm definitely. I think I could appreciate people moving here and being like, "This is terrible. This is not for me. This is, this would be the
Yeah,
worst thing." And I think, kind of speaking to people before I came, they said, like a lot of people said, New York will eat you alive.
you
You know,
can.
it can eat you alive. It'll spit you out. And that classic line of, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Right.
And I think, yeah, getting here and just being like, well, yeah, okay, it's okay, it's not terrible, puts me on a good footing
No,
to
totally.
be here a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because if you're doing okay, you're doing a hell of a lot better than most people.
Yes, which is why it's okay. Okay, I mean, we'll distill it a little bit. Okay, so I mean, we'll put you on the spot. Top five
Oh,
things about New York.
okay. Halloween, like I said.
That's one.
Um, I love the fact that there's so many options for food.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the world you can get here. Everything you can imagine is here, except for really good Tex-Mex food, which makes me sad. But still, number two is the food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. I don't know if I can do five of them though. Because I'm not like a very social girl. So I don't know
It can be like more personal things,
personal
the
things.
dogs, the people.
No people.
Or do you just
Not a people person.
the
No,
only
all right.
things you like
So
about New York are Halloween and food? I
true.
feel like you can get those in most places.
No,
Like,
no, no, not like here. Damn it. No. Okay. Yes, as far as like my job is concerned, this
mhm,
place is the best place for me to be.
okay.
For like clientele, be able to visit so many interesting clients I have too. Like
Hmm.
famous people. I won't name drop, but it's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool to get exposed to so many interesting things. Um, what else? I don't know. Street art's pretty cool here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I find it's the street arts I found really interesting in terms of how it changes area to area, like the type
yeah,
of stuff you see. I mean, I'm in Jersey, so Hoboken doesn't have too much street art in
right.
terms of what I've seen. There's little bits and there's little like murals to Sinatra and whatnot kicking about. But then when I was in Queens, there was loads of street art and it was really big and it was really dynamic. And
Oh
then
yeah,
when I was on the east side, it didn't seem to be so big, but it seemed to be a lot of small things which made up something larger.
yeah,
At least that was my impression of it.
yeah. No, different areas are different. Um, I tend to stay in my little neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't really get to experience all of it. I just find it's interesting, like yeah, small stuff, and then like stickers. Man, I see like so many stickers like everywhere. Like I'll even see some people that I know from being in the street art community have their like stickers slapped up in upstate New York. And I'm like, damn, like that is amazing. Yeah.
I often wonder whether stickers are worth it because there is so many stickers.
Right. And then people steal the stickers. And to be honest with you, stickers cost a lot of money to get made.
They do.
And whenever, you're on an artist budget, I mean, I have stickers, but I don't go out and stick them around places. I just give them to special people. So maybe if you come, I'll give you a sticker.
Maybe. If I come, I'll probably. Oh, I can't give you any zines. So I do a thing. So there's a zine which I make, which I give away for free, and I leave in public places. So it's my version of a sticker because
That's cool.
I'm very aware of, or at least when I was back in the UK, because it's like a small town city vibe, which is back in the UK. I never did stickers because I was like, it's very easy to track stickers to me because there's not that many people around, and there's not many places I could stick stickers. So I'd be covering a wall within the space of a couple of weeks, and it would just be my sticker. Yeah, so I started a zine, which I leave on kind of like buses and trains, and I go to galleries, and I just leave them in galleries because how else do you get your work in a gallery? You just abandon it. Yeah, so I can definitely appreciate the wanting to give it to the right people.
Yeah.
Because you want them to connect with it, I guess, somewhere.
Oh wait,
not waste your money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then then they like, I mean, the whole thing with street art is that they're only there for a certain time and then they wither away. But when you're playing with money, expensive stickers, I don't really want my stickers to just die. Wait, so I need to give you one more? What did I get? Halloween food, my dogs and clientele, street art, right?
You want more? Yeah, just one more.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it.
Maybe I should title this podcast "There Isn't 5 Great Things About New York" and see how many views I get. How many angry New Yorkers just flood into the comments.
Right. No, I'm sure there's already going to be a bunch of people. Okay, I like cycling in New York, even though I just said that I got hit 3 times.
Because you're some sort of adrenaline junkie.
Maybe in a weird way. I do like cycling in the city. It's so much easier than the train, and yeah, I love it.
I think there's as much as it's not something as I would do, like as much as I wouldn't get on like a push bike on Manhattan, I can appreciate how freeing that must be for people who live here.
Yeah. I mean, you just like pull up, lock up, you're there.
Yeah.
It's not like driving a stupid car and you have to find parking and no. It's free, man.
just like a flashback to like the 70s.
Just free, man.
Free, man. Like, what era am I in? Okay. Well, I feel like it's a pretty comprehensive list. But Halloween's your top spot.
Oh, yes.
Why is Halloween?
I think because, well, when I wasn't really making art and I was living in the city here, it was the only time that I would be like, oh, I'm going to get creative and make something amazing. So I would do like 2 to 3 costumes for every Halloween. And there's so many amazing parties that, you don't want to go to the same party in a different party in the same costume. No. So, yeah, it's just how I used to get all my creative energy out. I mean, this year was kind of hard, and I only did 1 new costume because I had so much other stuff going on. But I got to be in the Halloween parade, which is super cool. It's like the biggest Halloween parade, like in the, I don't know, world, country, something, another. I don't know. It's like the biggest one or something I read. I don't know. It's amazing. It was fun. I wouldn't recommend going to watch the parade.
No?
Just be on the parade. Be in the parade. Because it's like massive amounts of people. Just crazy.
Yeah. I think this was actually, I'm glad you brought it up because it was an interesting point where I was like setting up for today and I suddenly realized that I had no idea what you looked like.
Really?
Because the only picture I'd ever seen of you was in your Halloween costume where you're the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like it that way. I am a street artist, right? You're not supposed to know
You want to be
I even
invisible.
thought about, oh, maybe I should like be like the street artists that wear like the bandana and yeah, but I'm not that person.
No, don't be that person. There's a level of protecting yourself from getting sued and whatnot.
I know. I know. They just yeah. And then I even thought one of my drag queen friends said like, oh, why don't you just be that persona, my Halloween costume,
Mm-hmm.
all the time for like all your shows and for all your interviews, which would be kind of amazing.
Yeah.
But dude, that is a lot of makeup and work. And I mean, on a daily basis, I don't wear makeup at all. So just this was like a lot for me. I'm
That's
wearing
it.
sweatpants, okay? I'm not even wearing like, and I got like little slippers on.
I was gonna say like earlier. So out of shot, I have like a blanket and then a hot water bottle and then slippers on. I have like the coziest setup below midriff. Right?
Yeah. No, I got my heater right here, and yeah,
It's
but
that
like,
kind of
yeah,
day. The podcast hides everything. Anything could be going. It's interesting you mentioned that though. Like, so I had a conversation with an artist friend who lives in London a couple of years back actually, and we were saying it's interesting how the theatrics kind of moved out of artists in the sense of when you see big artists now, when you think of like the what's the word, the headliners, the ones which get all the news and all that kind of stuff, the Damien Hirst, etc.
yeah,
How they're just boring people. Like you
yeah,
see them and you're like they're just boring people, but like the 80s and 70s had these larger than life characters who were the front page because they were these larger than life characters, and
yeah,
it's kind of sad that we've lost that.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. No, yeah. I'm sorry. I should have dressed up as my Liberty Lady. I'll think about it in the future, maybe,
Next
or
time.
maybe I'll just do like skeleton dead face or something. I don't know. I mean, I always wear this because
Yeah.
I'm dead. That's about as but yeah, the 80s, man. I love the 80s. I love New York 80s, which is like all my little collage stuff and that Claus Nomi guy you have to look into. So amazing. And his outfits were so cool. Just
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Now we've lost it. We've
Do you
lost the
think do you think we could bring it back?
I wish. I mean, honestly, in the East Village, there are a lot of little weirdos that are just dressed up crazy all the time. I don't know if they're artists or whatever, but I mean, it's from the pandemic. I feel like there is a bit of, I don't know, somebody called them street unicorns the other day. Yeah. So maybe, maybe it's coming back. I just don't have the energy to bring it back myself.
There is a lot of that. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
guess
maybe, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess nowadays I guess people see it as like kind of insincere in a way. Like
You
in the
think,
80s, it was just like people, this is just people being people. This is what they're like. This is their personality. Whereas now people will look at it and be like, they're just doing that because they can trend,
right. Maybe. I
which is
don't
a
know.
shame.
Yeah.
I feel like it diminishes all the people who are naturally just, that's them. That's what they do.
Yeah. The real street unicorns.
Yeah. They're unique people. That like I like that term, but I feel like people are probably going to use it for people they think are weird, quote unquote. Where like they see someone in like a big hat and they're like, "Oh, that's a street unicorn." Whereas I'd see someone who's just like, "That guy's an accountant," and you can tell that they're an accountant because of everything about them. Like that
Right.
to me is like a perfect. That's what I want to see. Those are the weird people.
Right. No, I hear you. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe if I make it big enough to where I can hire a makeup artist,
Mm-hmm.
then it shows I can do it. Otherwise, I can't do it. Maybe I should do it every day. Just sleep in the makeup.
You could let it like form over time.
Ooh,
And then one day just like peel it off. And that's
yeah.
the piece. That's the finished piece.
That would be the performance art piece of all time.
The makeup death mask.
Yeah, it could happen. You never know.
Good. I was going to ask about your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Why Jennifer Pod is dead.
there's so many layers to that, and there's some of the layers are sad.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think the easiest layer is like before my art used to be all about love and relationships and blah blah blah, and
Mm-hmm.
that part of my life is over. So that persona, Jennifer Pod, is dead. And
You've been resurrected.
yeah, one of my favorite things to be for Halloween is a zombie. So it all, I don't know, it all just kind of,
It works though.
thanks.
I like that it's I like when I meet artists like yourself who put a level of concept into everything.
And I'm not even trying to put it into that. It just, I don't know.
No, but you naturally did it.
I
Like
did,
you
I
couldn't avoid
guess.
it.
It just happens.
Exactly. Can't avoid concept. It chases us.
Yeah.
All right, that's my view.
I want one of your zines. I have
My
zines
zine.
too, Yeah.
I know.
I make a zine too.
What's your zine?
My zine, well, I did one over during the pandemic. It's about pandemic life in the city. And it was just like photographs that I took, weird, empty streets because it was so bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the beginning whenever I did my first art piece, like painting, and then the beginning of my new art, whatever. Work.
Renaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few zines. So the one I was talking about there is called Null Point, and
Okay.
it's essentially a bi-monthly open call to anybody, and I set a subject, and then they send me work, and
Oh,
then I publish it into these zines, and I publish it anonymously,
oh,
so you don't know who the work came from or anything, and then we give it away for free, and it's
that's
like a
cool.
little howl into the ether or yell at concrete, as the name says. Um, and yeah, I did it as kind of as a way of giving people permission to be artists, because I was meeting so many people who were saying, "Oh, well, I can't do this, or I can't do this type of art," and I was like, "Well, we could just remove all of that and just go do some things." I mean, obviously,
That's
I make my own stuff.
very cool.
Yeah, I think it again, bringing it back to kind of your work and creating things and people. Um, I think I don't know if you agree. I feel like people sometimes need a level of permission to be able to feel and engage with things, which I don't know if exhibitions and that kind of thing do that. Like with kind of your audience involvement, you're essentially giving people permission to do this thing,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
they might not have had themselves.
True. I'm curious to see how it's gonna go down. I mean, I haven't really done one of these in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. I don't know.
Change somebody's life for better or
Maybe.
worse. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Probably for the worst. That's how I roll. Yeah.
It's the best way to do it. I don't. I think it's kind of like that 50-50 thing of, if you're gonna have something good, you have to have something bad. So if you give something bad and they experience something bad, they'll get something good out of it eventually.
Well, yeah, that's just, you can't just have good. That would be gross. There's got to be some bad in there to even appreciate the good, right?
Definitely. Maybe that's why people move to New York.
Maybe.
They look at it and go, "It's pretty terrible. There's got to be some good in there," and they move in.
Yeah, maybe. Because there are some hard stuff that people don't even really realize, like, are so difficult.
Hmm.
Like, I bet, like, it's probably not as bad in Jersey. Like, for you to get groceries, is that easy for you?
It's easier than it is easier. It isn't at the same time. So where I am in Jersey, there's not like major supermarkets. There's still like just markets, like the bigger markets you get in Manhattan. So there's like a
Mhm.
few of them. So in my comparative view, it's still difficult. But at the same time, I do realize it's harder over there, like to kind of
Yeah.
just get things. But then at the same time, I'm having to deal with just figuring out what everything ever is.
Yeah. Yeah. That too. You'll figure it out.
I'll just
You'll
come
get
in
it.
blind, as I
Yeah.
do with most situations, like moving here.
Well, that's kind of what I did.
That's.
Scared and blind, and I survived. And if I can survive, anybody can.
I think that's a that's a great way to round this out. If you
Yeah.
can survive this, and you can survive moving somewhere like New York, anybody can.
Although Jennifer Pod is technically dead, right? But
Yeah, technically New York killed her, but
it did. But it made me a better zombie.
that's perfect. That's the headline. New York killed Jennifer.
Yeah.
She's better now.
Hmm.
She's resilient. She's undead, and she can't die.
I
So
can't.
exactly, we'll live forever in the infamy. Fantastic. Okay, I think we should probably round this out.
Okay. Cool.
I only have one more question for you, though, which I'm
Okay.
now asking of all the guests which I have on the show.
Okay.
Who should I speak to next?
Oh my God. Huh.
You're like the second person to have that reaction. Of just I know people, but I don't know that many people. But there's so too many people to recommend.
Ooh. Would I recommend?
Thinking cap is on.
Do I have to answer right now? Can I think about it?
No, I need like an answer today. They don't have to be, they could be big, small. It could
I
be
know.
impossible. But
No, I'm
whoever
just,
you suggest, I will try and
oh,
contact.
like totally impossible, like a famous person?
I've tried contacting famous people.
Hmm.
I have no shame with dropping someone a cold call email and being like, hey, I run this small podcast.
Okay, well then we're gonna do that. Because I
Okay.
was thinking, like, do I really have that? Like, I mean, I know I have some interesting friends, but are they really that interesting?
I mean, you
They're
can
gonna
still
watch
recommend
this?
interesting friends. Like, just send me their details in a DM if you want. That's fine.
Okay, I'll think about that. But I mean, so as far as like the whole world and people that I think are like fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like two that come to mind. But there's one that he wouldn't do the interview, which makes him even more fantastic to me. And I see him in New York all the time and I get so excited. And he's like so introverted and grumpy, worse than me, that like he just gets all grumbly and it makes me happy. And yeah, I'm talking about Stephen Merritt. Do you know who Stephen Merritt is of the magnetic fields?
That rings a bell. I can't picture it. Like,
He's so grumpy and wonderful and an amazing musician. And he lives sometimes in the West Village. So I see him occasionally. And when I do, I get so excited. And he's like so grumpy and he just like, and I'll talk to him even though he doesn't want me to talk to him. And it's amazing. One time I asked him for a hug and he was like, no. And of course, because if you asked me for a
because
hug
it's a
on the street,
stranger
I'd be
asking
like,
for a hug.
no. Um, but no, because he's like that, it wouldn't work. I don't know if I could interview anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think I would interview Miranda July. Do you know who that is?
No, I feel like I don't know anybody.
And no, I mean, how many people are in the world? Miranda July is this. I don't even know what kind of artist you describe her as, but she does like interactive work, but she also does movies.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's really interesting. She's an interesting female, and I think that underneath some of my art, I was inspired by her, and because she did these like interactive pieces where I don't remember what it was called anymore. It's been so long ago, but you could like sign in and you'd get like a project, and then you had to go and create this project, and then you would send the project in. It usually was like make a banner for yourself and take a picture of it, and
Okay.
then you would send her the pictures, and then she did like exhibits with the pictures and all the interactive stuff. Some was recordings and stuff that people sent in. But she also does movies and writes books, and she's like all over the place. She's super awesome.
She's now on the list. She will be
Yeah,
added to the list of people
yeah.
to try and yeah.
I think she lives in LA right now. I don't know.
I will find out. I mean, that sounds like I'm going to stalk them. It's not that level of contact.
She's the type of person I don't think she would care if you stalked her.
It's cool. More like if I find an email address, they will get an email.
She's neat.
She sounds.
Yeah.
Good. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
What? Okay. And I will also try and contact the grumpiest man in New York. Because why not?
Yeah, he's gonna be like, "Who's this? No way." It's
I
just like he looks at me on the street.
I love contacting like big names because you never know what kind of reaction you're gonna get. Like my instant reaction is like they're just gonna ignore me. Like that's fine. They're a celebrity or whoever. They're gonna ignore me. And then other times I'll get like a really polite email from their agent, which just says like, "Oh no, they're too busy right now," or that kind of thing. And then occasionally I'll get an email from someone quite big who will just be like, "Actually, no, I like your show," or that kind of thing. But it's not for me. And I'm like, that's fine,
Right. At least they spoke to you.
Yeah, I'm asking for an hour of free time. It would be rude of me to be annoyed by it.
Right. It's cool. It's very neat. I like this. This was fun, even though I had to have a margarita to make it happen.
I was gonna say, how was it? Is it?
It's good. I mean, you saw it was only like this much, but I can feel it. It's made me better.
It's made you better. Margaritas make you better.
No, they really do. Says the girl from Texas. There are some things you can't take out of the Texas girl.
Margaritas is one of those things.
Yeah. Love my tequila and barbecue.
The benchmarks of Texas. Tequila and barbecue.
Yes.
And then a bunch of terrible things.
A bunch of terrible. We won't go there.
We won't. We will keep it light in the last 2 minutes of this podcast.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming, Jennifer. It's been
thank you.
Great to chat to you. And hopefully it's been, fairly painless in the overall scheme of things.
Yeah. I lived through another stressful event in my life. I can say I did it. You
can do it again if you ever need to, because hopefully, probably we're more structured than mine, because mine doesn't really have a structure. I
like this. I don't like structure. Structures, no. And now I know how to use Zoom.
You do? We got there eventually.
I'm just gonna invite all my friends. Hey, you want to Zoom this weekend?
They'll be like, sure. Not quite sure what you mean, but sure. Well, on that note, we'll call it. Thank you for coming, Jen.
Thank you.
We'll talk to these guys later.
All right, cool.